Hey, shorties. Wow, good to see you. Who's here? We've got a small crew to start off with, but small is great. From little things, big things grow, right? We've got Ernie Birdie in the house. Morna's here from Perth. Sharon in Tasmania. Laurie Life 360 cannot believe she's still awake. I can't believe it either. If you fall asleep, there's always replay crew. And oh, thanks, Ernie. Yes, the lips, the never-ending new supply of lip liner. Bacon said bacon. Bacon and baking. Yum. Broken Baker says, I agree. Small is best. He's given it away. Backstage Baker. Backstage Aussie. Aussie put some emojis. Heart hands. Yay. They don't show up on StreamYard. Dumb. Hey, Poppy. Poppy's in the house. Oh, there's toys in the background. Hey, Pops. Hello, hello. I think Adam might be asleep, and that's okay. Adam is very tired. So, welcome along. This is a hi, Luby. Good to see you. Clip it, Adam. Bacon. Yes. Hi, Poppy. We are managing to coordinate an around the world, a global little mini panel. We're going to talk about all things Karen Reid, Canton, streaming. I don't know, wherever it goes. Tiff Knox is in the house. Adam is here too. Sorry. I love bacon. We all love bacon. I mean, maybe not everyone. Pig DNA. Pig DNA. Chloe loves bacon. You know what? I'll stop dribbling on. Shall we bring up these esteemed guests? I feel like I'll put Bacon next to me because he's a head. And then I think I'll put Aussie down the bottom because she's an avatar. Hey, you two.
Hey.
Why did I become bacon? Is
Well,
it
I don't
because my pig-like features?
No, goodness no. I think it's my extreme exhaustion. Did you bacon? Oh my god, I'm gonna do it all night. Did you and Aussie too? Did you guys used to watch Monkey Magic? Do you remember Pigsy?
Yep, I
What?
do.
Did you watch Monkey Magic, Baker?
What? Monkey magic.
Wasn't it just called Monkey?
Maybe it
It was
was.
just
The
called
song was
Monkey, but
Monkey Magic,
he
and there
was,
was
yeah, the song was Monkey Magic.
yes.
Monkey Magic.
It is 8 a.m. where Baker is. Bacon, Baker. So there was a character called Pigsy and Sandy and Monkey and Tributaka. Great show. I used to eat bowls of corn. Ask my mother to make me bowls of corn so that I could be just like Tributaka. So anyway, sidebar. Prince Lover asked, "What time is it there, Baker?"
It's 8. Well, I just took my watch off to. It's 8:05.
8:05, and you had quite the night of disrupted sleep. Yes.
Yeah, it's Saturday, my favorite day. So 3 to 4, I was on the expert show. Now I'm going to be on here, and then 3 o'clock in my time in the afternoon, I'm going to do my own Saturday show. Hopefully, I'll sleep tomorrow. I'll try sleep at once. I'm thinking I should just be enough of a grifter so I get enough money to get a little Colombian in me to keep me going.
How much sense do you think you'll be speaking if you have a little Colombian in you?
I don't speak any sense now, so can't see it change much.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think
why a little Colombian? Why not a little Italian?
Because I know you live on the other side of the world, and you might not know where fun powder comes from, but not a lot of fun powder comes out of Italians. It's normally from the jungles of Colombia.
Oh,
it's also called
I was
Colombian
thinking
marching
alcohol. You
powder.
know what? I didn't go there.
It's,
nose beers, as they're referred to in Australia. Nose beers, yes.
Yeah, we call it craftman sugar. Also, just to put in that coffee to get working a little faster.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, more focus, laser focus, and a dripping nose, which isn't real cute for streaming either. Fun powder, bath toy member.
I've never understood just taking everything off on a derailment. I never understood Do they not see themselves? We have a bar where underage can buy drinks until 12, then they're kicked out because then the night serving and you must be 18. And you see these 4 girls go into the toilet and everyone instantly gets flu and comes out. And no one can tell. No, you're secret. No one can see what you have been doing. You were just in there powdering your nose. Some of it got all over it.
The funny thing is, though, I think with that particular chemical, people think it's a badge of honor to be overtly utilizing said fun powder. So I don't know.
That was so funny. I just got like kidnapped by the Starlink with Baker's face doing the powder look.
Well, Baker, you now have a very red nose, so it does look like maybe you've had some fun powder.
Maybe that's the explanation. I can do all these shows. Maybe I do make enough money to have a habit.
You are a king grifter. I love the shirt. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I got so sick and tired of Plevin, so I just made grifters merch.
100%. I have in my Twitter bio, it's like all the things, and then the last dot point is grifter. Like, I mean, most streams I don't make $1. So I mean, other than ad revenue, AdSense, I'm not my streams don't often be big raining money streams, and that's fine with me. But still, I'm called a grifter and a clout chaser. I think maybe I'm living up to clout chaser tonight because look at you two, clouters, bacon clout.
Come on, we kind of started where you are only a few months ago. You'll catch up soon. You'll catch up quick.
You have what, 6,000 subscribers? My goal for this year was to hit 2,000 subscribers.
Yes.
So I was lucky that I just had a big break. So everything comes. Oh, Sarah, yeah, I do have a Dr. Pepper for my sweet girl Sarah.
I mean, I was stream for so long that I'm sitting here trying to control your chat, clicking on stuff, going, why isn't that working?
Yeah, I do that. I do it when I guest on Adam's lives. In my defense, I did only start the channel in January, so I think I'm going all right.
You're doing way better than all right. Hitting. I have a very good. Well, not a friend, but a guy who's been around my channel for forever. He makes videos of different parts of Norway, and it's the most well-produced videos you can see. Fedorowski, he's criminally under-subbed, but you just have to be lucky and catch that break. And people should go check out Fedorowski on YouTube. Wonderful channel.
Yes. Again, for I think Aussie, I know your big sort of crashing through the subscriber numbers was because of your mashups and then the shout outs on Melanie Little's channel, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Through the roof.
Yes.
She
and for me,
twice, and I went from 1,000 to 5,000 within minutes.
I was one of those subscribers.
Yeah.
For me, I had one particular short because I'm a shorty who creates shorts, except now I don't make many shorts, but I had one particular short that just happened to an Adelson related short with Wendy Adelson, and I entitled it 2 million, and it was with where she was on the stand in not one of the most recent trials, but I think perhaps in Katie Magbanoa's retrial, where she was being asked about the life insurance for the kids, and she says, "Oh, I 1 million," and Georgia Kappelman says 1 million for each child, and she says yes, 1 million, and so it's 2 million. So I entitled it 2 million, and it ended up getting 2 million. It's over like 2.5 million. 2,050,000 sort of views now, and that got me 2,000 subscribers. So I did sort of cheat. Everyone's got a little thing that does bumps. Absolutely.
Yeah, and in the end, you just have to grind. It's a constant grind because. You have 6,000 subs and you don't have 6,000 viewers. People think that, oh, you hit this number. Yeah, and they will come back for Melanie Little. They will come back for Mark Betterow. But you just have to grind and hope that 5 of them will return and say, I'm going to check her out Saturday morning at 8:30 to try and see why she brings those weirdos on.
Yes.
And maybe she'll like it.
Yes, I have people who subscribed to my channel when I was making purely Adelson related shorts, and then when my Free Karen Reid stance became apparent, they haven't engaged in any of that content at all. They don't come back, and then they do come back for anything more I do on Adelson. So it's interesting. It was always going to be a potentially risky thing, a divisive thing to jump on board the Free Karen Reid train, the grift train, the clout train.
But do you want to be Adelson channel and you can ride that grift for how long is that trial still going to last? 2 years and you're out of here. Your channel is dead, and or do you want to be, because there's a lot of people coming to me saying, why don't you have Mark on more? Is it because right now I'm going to start covering Sarah Boone, or I've done 3 trials over the last 2 weeks, and people are sitting there saying, but Mark, big numbers. Yeah, but I'm not a Karen Reid channel. I am an everything else channel.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, my true crimey Karen Reid, even trial watching stuff isn't really the what that my channel was born of. My passion project is my Let's Talk series, which gets very, very low views, and I don't care. It changes 1 or 2 or 5 people's lives. Thanks, Bacon. Thanks, Bacon. That's awesome. But yeah, so like I like, and then the bread and butter stuff is, yeah, you get like I said, I've just been doing some reviews of Kerry Roberts' testimony and brain fart, and Nicole Albert, and there's like 10,000 views between the two live streams. So that's fine. I can do my passion stuff, and then do the. I'm still passionate about Free Karen Reid, obviously. Like I think all 3 of us probably are, but we're not one trick ponies.
I am. I'm afraid to admit I am. I'm going to wait till all the lawyers are on the same case again, and I'm going to go clip crazy again.
Are you though? Because you and Abby are doing a little bit about like a few other things, right? With Abby's ex-boyfriend or boyfriend who had suspicion.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we'd like to get that one going, but we're treading lightly at the moment. We just want to make sure that his family's on board and that they want to make a big deal out of it. So, like we could accidentally go worldwide and they're like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So we'd like to know that we've got their blessing. So at this point, we're kind of just pulling it back a little bit, but that is one that we'd like to get into once she's got some more paperwork and the blessing of the family. So some of the paperwork she can't get, the family has to go and get it like on her behalf. So and then obviously for us to be able to talk about it, we need to have their blessing and for them to be handing it over. So but that is one. I'd like to have got into the Sarah Boone case. Like I was really keen when she was going pro se, but it's kind of a bit boring now that she's got a lawyer. Like,
well, and that's another funny thing, because you sit here and I saw the Sarah Boone when it started, back when I fell in love with her, because those skinny alcoholic legs straddling a bush did something to me. And then you sit there and you keep the pot boiling for a year, and then all of a sudden the case is coming close, and you see boink 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 5 way bigger channel jumping on it. So you sit there and think, well, it'll probably not be my best streams, but again, that's a big opportunity for some collaborations, because I know Melanie is going to cover it as well. So maybe we can do a rundown of it, or maybe I can finally get the nerves to reach out to Know Your Lawyer.
It is tricky though, because I was my work schedule doesn't make it, my peasant work, my real job doesn't make it super conducive for me to do trial coverage. I was going to do Donna Adelson, but that got foiled at the very last minute. And then, like you say, Baker, like when big channels jump on things, it does make it like it's human nature for people to want to go where the where the numbers are. Grumpy Granny, what in the world is going on here? Are you fooling around with other women, Broken Baker?
Well, Sarah is fooling around with other men, so and women. Apparently, she has a prison sweetheart, a Miss Pena, and they were caught in the shower. No, it doesn't say what they were doing in the showers, but they were caught in the showers. And Sarah has been hoarding cheese. She has, so far in the inmate notes, she has been found with 96 pieces of cheese slices.
Well, she's gone up in my estimation somewhat. Cheese is amazing. Cheese and bacon are on par for me. Wow. Not refrigerated though. So she's got unrefrigerated cheese in her cell?
It's those cheese slices, the toast cheese.
Oh, I had that.
They'll be there with the cockroach and Keith Richards after the nuclear war.
She's actually really sneaky. She will be like totally doesn't want to cooperate with anyone for anything and just totally pain in the butt. And then just out of the blue, she'll start being really helpful and going in to do the laundry and in the kitchen, helping out in the kitchen. And then next minute, you know, she's got like all these pillow slips and cheese. So she's really sneaky, that one.
And I love that she makes her prison pants smaller and with staples in them. And she's been caught once, and then she was just caught again, and she was told they are just to be comfortable. They are not to show off your body. And I've seen those alky legs. I'm thinking she's turning tricks in there.
There's just there's nothing appealing at all about Sarah Boone, externally or internally. She's just a revolting creature. But I agree, Ozzy. I think when she was going to be representing herself, a delight would have been just, I mean, train wreck viewing, but still.
Entertainment Plus. We all love train wrecks. Speaking of train wrecks,
yes.
I was just watching some posts on X, and someone screenshotted Plevy. Plevy's got himself all like smart and everything with the whole Chat GPT, and he's posted this big long formula. And what's the formula called? Hang on, I need to look at it. What's the formula called? It's called Gay-Lussac's law, which relates pressure and temperature for a given volume of gas. The formula is, I'm not going to read the formula. He says, allow me to translate. If the interior of your car warmed up from 18 to 75 degrees, it would change the barometric pressure inside by the altitude equivalent of 30 feet or 3 flights of stairs. Unfortunately, he's reading the formula wrong, and it's actually cold air that increases the pressure and makes it look like you're going upstairs.
No, if you heat up the air, it'll build up the pressure in a vacuum. You have to have a sealed tank. Plevin is an idiot, but
I know
because
that was
hot air expands.
Cold air increases the barometric pressure, and hot air decreases the barometric pressure. So just I understand what you're saying. He didn't say
but to have the thing he wants in a car,
right? It has to
should be a submarine,
right?
Or because no air must escape. So when the gases expand, they'll raise the pressure because it can't get out there. But Plevin's an idiot. How many of you have a? Well, I don't have my watch on, right? A smartwatch or a phone. And how many times have you been out anywhere and said, "Oh, I just got 10,000 steps for free today"? It doesn't happen.
Yippee-doo-dah.
He's such a stupid idiot.
I actually did ask AI how often this kind of thing actually happens. And according to AI, it only happens in very extreme heat, like we have here in the desert, for example. It's where it goes from, 18 degrees Fahrenheit at night up to like 130 through the day. So it's not exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. And I was saying Fahrenheit, not Celsius.
I was just about to say, I'm so impressed how you can just flip your brain to use the US measurement.
I don't flip it easily, but I already worked this one out like in Fahrenheit before I said it all.
So you cheated. Awesome.
It wasn't really flip.
Talking about Plever just reminded me that I pledged horrifyingly to Shorty's that we would live reacts to his closing argument stream that he did. So I've just realized I've yet to have that pleasure of viewing. I haven't watched it.
I'm actually, when I see it, I went in there because he was sitting there and talking about everyone else being a grifter off the Karen Reed case. I went in and looked at his channel. He has nothing other than Aiden and Karen Reed on his channel, but he's doing amazing numbers. And
is he though?
He's doing thousands of views on. He's doing better than I do.
Ugh. Are they all his sock accounts though? Are we sure that they're actually humans?
Well, I don't know if he has socks on his hands when you make them, but I'm just saying that yellow cottage cheese.
Yeah, I'd never watched a moment of Pleven until Kate Smith came on.
I don't hate myself enough to watch him, but he had a breaking Karen Reed 1,500 views 4 hours ago. Yesterday, 2.5, 2,000, 3.4, 3.2, 2.5, 4. He's doing good numbers. He's calling us grifters, but he makes more in AdSense than I do.
Yes,
grifter.
He makes between 10 and 15 bucks in AdSense per stream.
Well, I would make more in AdSense if I could watch my damn mouth, but I'm just such a potty mouth. I can't stop with the curse words.
It's so hard, eh? I've had to curb so much. And today I was like, all right, we're not swearing at all. And then I put in the interview I did with Christy, I was talking about the can I say a non-friendly word?
You can say whatever you want. Go for it. My intro has fucking in it.
Let's try it. I was talking about Jen McKay when she was on the stand, and she claimed that she had a letter sent to her daughter with sperm on it. And I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know it was sperm? And I didn't even realize that was, didn't even remember it was in the, I was like, none of us swore, because it kept saying to me, no, you can't monetize this. I'm like, oh, come on now. And then when I said sperm, I didn't say sperm, but when I said it, I was like, I said semen. Oh, there it is. Yep, there it is.
I understand that YouTube wants to keep things PG-13 and acceptable and all that stuff, but
advertiser friendly.
Yes. No, mostly all of my streams are yellow dollar signs, and then of course I get the people need to stop suggesting that I play stuff with music in it, because I'm like, yeah, sure.
Do you ask for a review of all those yellow ones?
Nah.
I had a period of maybe 2 months. Every single stream I did that went over 2 hours got dinged yellow, and I appealed them. 95% of them came back green 5 days later, which is for a live streamer stupid, because I make my money within the first maybe an hour after a live stream for the people catching up, and I don't make any money. I have wonderful, generous viewers, but I don't make AdSense money. But I actually at some point I made a list and said, okay, it's 95 point something, and I wrote the support, said, can you please stop doing this? I do the same thing every day. You hit it with a demonetization. and you clear it within. Most of it was cleared within 4 hours.
Yeah, wow.
And they said, "Well, we don't do that. It's AI." I said, "Yeah, then tell that stupid AI that because it's just double work." And I don't use the word. I say unalive. I say pew pew. I say peen. I say all the things.
All
I've
the
noticed.
things you do, and you don't swear. So
I think I feel like YouTube would watch about the first 4 or 6 minutes of any of my streams and go, no, we won't be reviewing that.
Well, that's the worst thing is when you take your YouTube language off platform and you sit there. When I was in Tennessee talking to people, and we're sitting there saying, "Did you hear about that girl who unalived the guy with?" It's kind of weird that it becomes your vocabulary.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's my problem in reverse, Baker, is that my real world is full of all of the words. I work with workmen and tradies, as we call them here, and that vernacular comes into my YouTube. But also, like, my non-true crime stuff is not real, like, YouTube friendly. I'm talking about, domestic violence, coercive control, addiction, drug abuse.
I just covered a case where people were smoking meth for 5 days and someone shot someone because he was meth paranoid. You can have a lot of true crime and still use all the words. You just meth. I haven't found a word for yet, but pew pewing someone in the neck 2 times. It's okay.
In Australia, they on the our what are the equivalent shows, Aussie, like, so 7:30 report, like the current affairsy type shows, they all refer to it as ice. They call meth ice. So you could probably get away with saying ice if you wanted to, but you'd have to tell your people in advance.
Well, because ICE is also the border mob, isn't it, in America?
That would get confusing.
Which Sarah
away with
Boone
it
tried to
for
rat
that.
out her neighbor to because he didn't want to let her use his toilet.
Fair.
She's
And it's
such
not called
a
it's not called a blowy. It's called a mouth hug. A mouth hug.
a mouth hug.
I like it.
We were watching a trial with a guy who drove from Tennessee to Texas to unalive his high school sweetheart's husband, and he hadn't seen this girl other than online. He went into the military after high school, and she, I don't know, went whorebacking or something. And then one day during the Chinese cough, he thought, well, I'm going to reach out to her. I have brain damage after being blown up in Iraq. She's just waiting for me to call. Reaches out, gets in contact with her, and she spins him this tale about how her husband is using her as a gift to 7 of his friends, forcing her to mouth hug them underwater in a spa. So she passes out and has to be resurrected. So he drives his car down there and put 8 holes in him. But the best part of it was a black lead detective and a white prosecutor, and they were reading the text messages between those, and you would just see that poor black detective thinking, white people. What's going on with the white people? It was a fun case. Sergeant Dom, who got his first kiss under the Eiffel Tower. I don't know where that part is on a woman, but I'd like to find it.
I had to see it written on the screen before I got it. I thought he was saying hug. He's saying hug.
A mouth hug.
I got you now. It's Yeah,
this is wonderful. Three people who has absolutely no accent anyone in the US can understand.
Chat seems to be quite enjoying it. I know when I had John Camo on a few weeks ago, and he was like, he watched some of my, he obviously hadn't watched much of my stuff before, but he watched some of my stuff just so he could ensure that he could understand me when I was talking. I'm like, come on, man, it's not that hard to understand. So you are doing Sarah Boone, Baker?
Yeah.
Well, not doing. Wish. I mean, are you doing?
I wish.
He's doing Sarah
Boone. I'm covering it. I've been
doing Sarah Boone.
I've been lining up for Sarah Boone for a long time, and again, it's not that important if you're going to make. Well, she said everyone who's going to cover her case is going to be a millionaire, so I will sue her for lost income if I'm not a millionaire. But I just want to see her, because she will take the stand and she will then tell us how it's a self-defense accident, which it can't be, because self-defense must be a definitive action you make to end a problem. But it's also self-defense after the best day they had in a long time. She just thought, nah, he's going to kill me. I'm going to kill him.
I'm just going to be into it.
She is such a... But the best thing is she just thinks that she can outsmart everyone. And doing jury duty for 13 years, I have met so many Sarah Boones and you can just see them trying to think on their feet, and they can't think at all.
I think what's going to undo Sarah Boone is that she won't listen to her lawyers. She thinks she knows best, and they're going to tell her not to testify, and she's going to say a big ol' F you, and she's going to testify whether they like it or not, pretty much the same way Tullis did, Tullis, or whatever his name was. And that's what's going to screw her. She's going to be just like Tullis, thinking, I can manipulate anybody. Find out she can't actually manipulate a whole jury.
Well, it will be her undoing, and I'm here for that. I can't wait. I absolutely will watch your coverage, Baker. I'll try to send a couple of dollars your way with my viewership. There you go.
Yeah, and I don't know if Brandon wants me to read this one, but
yeah, read it.
No, because he just said Baker will read the bad ones or hide and yell at me for being a bad guest. He's a moderator on my channel. The only reason why he's a moderator is because
he's got a potty mouth.
Yeah, and it got caught in all the bad word filters. So I had to give him back the moderator, and he pocket moderates a lot. So, well, not a lot.
Oh,
it happened 3 times that people are just.
Oh, so he's like
Brandon deleted someone, and I have to undelete them again.
I have done that myself. I think in a space of about 3 minutes, I once pocket timed out 6 or 7 people in the one stream for like 18,000 seconds or whatever, like the longest one possible. I was like, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Yes, thank you, Brandon. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sarah is crazy. Yes. Well, not well.
She's misunderstood. She's passionate.
She's always been a straight A student. She's always.
I excel at everything I do. I can't drink. I won't drink. I don't drink.
Someone asked before, because she's been in county jail, hasn't she? Been for 5 years, really. Yeah. And I'm interested to know about the cheese fascination, and the pants being too loose, but then she pins them in. Surely there's a correlation between 5 years in county jail, an excessive love of cheese, and a weight gain, but then not in the legs, not in the alcoholic legs, Baker.
No, but she's also complaining that her medium top is too big. It shows too much of her testicles. So she wants a smaller one. No, she has a small one, but she wants a small, because it shows too much of her bubular area. So
but then she wants to have the pants tied up?
Yeah, but she does need breakfast. That's a thing.
She does or she doesn't? She does eat breakfast?
I was reading Brandon's. I realized it right away. I think what's going to, and then I thought I said something, and I don't know what I said, and you asked me a question about what I said. I don't have enough squirrels running that. It's 8:30.
The question was, she does or doesn't, and she doesn't until she does, and then when she does, it's because she wants a special sort of breakfast for. Is it diabetes or gluten?
No, that's her lunch packet. She wants a diet for gluten allergies when it's she doesn't want the real food. But when she wants the real food, she's not gluten allergic. So she's just she's a beautiful soul that's misunderstood.
Ozzy, you're worried you're about to get kidnapped permanently, are you?
Right. Well, we'll see how hard the rain gets, because I might just.
Oh, right on cue.
Right.
You're good. Just see how you go. So Baker, I haven't yet had a chance to really listen to Ozzy's. And I guess you're probably asleep. Have you listened to any of Ozzy and Abby's whistleblower interview with a Canton resident?
No, I've
No.
seen those AI mock-ups.
No, this was just today. Our live stream just a couple of hours ago.
Oh, no, I was on a stream, slept, walked the dog, was on a stream. That's how long I've gone.
It's so hard to stay on top of things, isn't it? Sometimes with the time difference and with doing your own streaming and things. Aussie, do you want to give a little bit of a taste test to the folks in chat to know what they might be able to?
Well, they're pretty much all there, but yeah, I think there's a
Give me
couple.
a Baker taste test. I've started listening.
And Baker hasn't. That's right. So essentially, someone who hung out with Krusty Panties and the crew and knows the McAlberts, very good friends with Dilly,
5 years younger than me. She's 5 years younger than me and 10 years younger than you, Aussie. Oh no, not quite 10. Yes, she looks lovely for her age.
And
not your whistleblower, Jill Daniels. Sorry. Yes, carry on. Oh, and then she got kidnapped and I interrupted her.
But
Baker, do you have any?
How old are these people? I remember watching that trial. I was, especially when Jen came on. I was sitting with a Twinkie in the States, enjoying a quiet morning while I had the girl stream for me. It's because we don't have critters, because God don't hate us. We don't have earthquakes either, or volcanoes, because God loves Denmark. He gave us our flag. But I was looking at Jan, and thinking, how old is she? She must be like 50 something. And then someone said 45 or something. She looks so old.
She looks older than me.
Yes. Julie Albert, Jill Daniels, and Jen McCabe all look, and Nicole Albert all look so weathered and beaten. And
they look like sailors. Do they all own boats or something?
I think
that's kind of what happens
They
look
like they worked with sailors for 15 years.
Right.
Got a lot of facial treatments, but it didn't really.
But like Trippy Bukaki, or
yeah, I love that. Was still favorite moment. Bukaki, and you would just see she thought, oh, fuck, I just said that. That's gonna be
You said that.
Well, they've been through a lot of meat bats. Brandon has the bride again.
Thanks, yes.
So essentially, she used to hang out with them, and she had some of the inside dirt on what was going on with the setup of TV, and so she spilled a bit of that, and the people on that side that were saying, oh, they went after our jobs and we got fired. Yeah, none of them got fired. So
no. I guess we maybe should save it for tomorrow night when Scott McGuinness is in the house. But there was Jill Daniels had her hearing on, was it Friday or Thursday, whatever day it is?
I believe it's Thursday afternoon, right?
Yes.
Right, and she didn't turn up. And not only did she not turn up.
No, she's in rehab.
Is she actually?
My daddy told me to go to rehab. I said, no. Yeah, she's allegedly, the reason why she didn't show up in court is the lady is in rehab.
Sorry. No, the lady's not in rehab.
Well, that's what they said in court.
She told Christy, a whistleblower, that she's not in rehab. She just got off the phone with her just 4 minutes before she was talking to us. She's not in rehab. Apparently, she had an issue with her lawyer or something. So,
but if you call court and says, Mama's in rehab, she got a little of the wine problem, and you're not in rehab, that's perjury. Because you're not allowed to rely. Well, that girl knows everything about the P word. She perjured herself so badly, allegedly, in Minecraft.
It wasn't until I was playing it back that I realized the interview back that I realized she said, no, she did lie to the court. I thought she was saying, because I was getting cut off every bloody 2 seconds, I thought she said she didn't lie to the court, but apparently she did. So,
I mean, and then if the attorney is supporting that claim, then the attorney is also perjuring themselves and subordinating perjury. Well, subordinating perjury, you know, like it's supporting a bad thing that an attorney shouldn't be getting involved in, but then
yeah, but
allowing.
who's going to hold him accountable? Who's going to say, show us your login to, you know, the rehab? No one's going to hold her accountable.
Yeah, wow.
Like
So,
here in Australia, if you didn't have a login for the rehab, like some sort of proof, a signature from the doctor, what is it called? A certificate from the doctor, Shorty? I forget what it's called here. A medical certificate. If you didn't have that, then the judge would be like, all right, you didn't show up and you'd be sanctioned in some way or another. Like you just wouldn't get away with that here in Australia.
No, but you shouldn't be able to. And again, I'm preaching to the choir, I know. How long can it go on? Let's count the millions of things wrong with the MSP, and at what point will I know right now they have the big election, and the governor's out there. I don't know what side she's on, but she's out there trying to bask for her candidate. But at what point must any reasonable politician, and again, I've been doing local and national politics for quite some years in Denmark. I've been through and I've sat through some very, very bad scandals where you have to go and do something. You can't keep getting punched in the face. How many people are covering every little? How many of you have seen coverage of the second Mark Betterow? I know Melanie did it. Did it. Aiden did it. I think the Young Jerks did it. Who was the other? But again, it's thousands of people. It's tens of thousands of people who see all this coverage. You have to have the most tech illiterate spin office at the governor's mansion. If the Garcia case, the Karen Reed case, the Birchmore trial, and I never remember that guy who got pew-pewed 15 times.
Justin Root?
Yeah, Root. You have those 4 cases. One of them screams excessive violence at a police academy. Other one, grooming and cover-up. The third one, not grooming, but unaliving and cover-up. And the last one, excessive violence. It's all cases that could hit New York Times. How long can a governor, and I don't know how long her election cycle is running, how long can you live with this PR? At some point, someone must go in there and put some pressure on the DA's office. We saw it in the Birchmore trial. Oh, we're going to excuse ourselves. Who's going to do it? Well, we're gonna point at someone who's going to do that. Okay, so it's your friends.
It's so incestuous. It's just horrifying.
Well, you know, she could probably hang out there for a bit because who's that corrupt mayor that's being investigated right now? She just keeps stealing money off the town. What's her name? She's like the most corrupt mayor in America right now. I just can't think of her name.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, that lady who had the town pay for her to go to Las Vegas and stuff like that.
Yeah, that moron. Tiffany Henyard. I knew the chat would fill it in for me. They do it every time. You have a blank, just look at the chat. Tiffany Henyard. Thank you, Sean. That's exactly who I'm talking about. But yeah, she's Superman. Yeah, I think I got a Superman.
No, you didn't. They didn't boot all the detectives. They booted Proctor. Proctor is the only one from the Karen Reed case, even though at least the 3 other witnesses was in the same text thread.
Yep.
And Bukaki lied and gave a smiley face to the "I'm looking for nudes,"
Yeah, yeah. They're
and
all
he didn't do anything.
lying. They're all lying, and it's a build up of lies. Like Baker was just saying, over multiple cases, multiple missing, evidence, multiple didn't look at the evidence, multiple lies. It's just builds up, and at some point you've got to see it as malicious. You can't just keep putting it down to incompetence.
I mean, Brandon says here, "Oh, I thought they were all getting tossed under investigation." I feel like there could be something happening, but it's like the momentum that happened in that month after the mistrial was declared has seemed to have absolutely halted.
Fanning was instantly cleared. Trooper Guarino and Bukaki I don't know if we ever got a conclusion on their cases. Yes, we did. They got like 6 vacation days. The guy who forgot his pew-pew in a car, so drunk that he didn't know what he did the day before, got like a week of unpaid work. Imagine being Brandon. For those of you who don't know, Brandon is an exotic dancer at the Mousetrap in Tennessee. He because he has a little hands-on with the clientele sometimes. He brings a pew-pew stick, of course registered. He always have that. He gets drunk one day at work and forgets it, and it shows up the next day. And he said, "I don't know. Do you think the police would say, 'Hey, buddy, it happens'?" No, they would say, "Hey, buddy, you like your new iron cufflinks?" But they can get away with it because that town is what. Have you ever seen Copland with Sylvester Stallone?
I haven't. I haven't seen anything, but school me.
Watch that movie and you'll see Canton.
Yes.
Everyone is protecting everyone, and every little dirty detail is being covered up.
Right, and Scott McGuinness actually fills us in on a little bit of that. Like, I forget the exact language, so forgive me if I don't get it exactly right, Scott, in advance. But
at least you don't call him the sheriff anymore.
Right.
sorry. Forget about it.
He's not a sheriff. Oh, you totally made me lose it.
Oh, sorry. Scott explains it well with the corruption that's on every level.
Oh, right. That Morrissey handpicks his little frat boys who are going to be serving at his feet, basically. So, and so all of these people that Baker was just talking about getting away with all of these things is because they're Morrissey's little frat boys. But the ones who are not Morrissey's little frat boys, they're going to be the first ones thrown under the bus. Or even if they're lower in the pecking order for the little frat boys, I'm sure they've got frat boys themselves have their own pecking order. Obviously, Proctor was at the bottom of that list because he was the first to go. So,
yeah, but he isn't, and that's why because he is pretty high up in the system, and that's why I think they tried to go for him. I could see him being a flip-flopper if the feds wanted to touch, and that's why whenever everyone is saying the feds are coming Monday, no, they're not. The feds probably won't do anything. They are more interested in the Birchmore trial. And again, they're not that interested because they only picked up one of the police officers, not the other 2 who we know also groomed her. And we know grooming is a big problem that they are really hitting down on. If you're a priest in the Catholic Church, school teachers, not so much. But Proctor is a mid-level in this system. He would be the one you needed to flip so you can both get the small and the big fish because he has dirt on people. My problem is with all of this, look at the turnover rate. at the Canton Police Department and then the MSP as on a whole. I think it's like 25%. Any job where you have a 25% turnover rate, you have a very, very unhealthy. You're muted. You have a very unhealthy. What do you call it? Environment at the workplace.
The workplace culture. Turnover
Yeah.
is the biggest indicator of an unhealthy workplace culture and poor business health. But it's an organization. It's a government organization. So business health isn't really. Well, it is a problem, but it's not going to hit the bottom line.
No, and again, as Brandon says, I think he just accidentally got caught up in Discovery. Yeah, because he was the one who wrote, "I'm looking for nudes on her phone." All the other people who also was waiting for the nudes off her phone, who liked it and shared it and did whatever, they didn't get the hammer. They said something like, "Hey, buddy, we're going to send you out for pasture or on pasture, to pasture, whatever you do with pasture, you do it to milk." And then we're going to get you that cushy job where you're going to be running security down at Bill's Hardware, and you're going to. Have you seen the amount of money they rake in? 240,000 for a detective. That's equivalent to what the PM in Denmark gets.
Wow. Yes.
It's ludicrous, and I don't think even our PM gets that much, does he? I think he might be even in the 300 mark, actually.
Yeah, it's about 330 odd, I think. Yeah.
Interesting. So if I'm annoying people because I'm muting, it's because I don't want to drown the other speakers out with rain.
Or getting kidnapped.
Yeah, I love that whenever she's trying to say, well, if I'm not, it's because I'm muting, or it's because she'd lose a signal. Yeah, and he's also a giant douche. He probably thought he was untouchable. Yeah, because they have that culture. What, as I said when I was covering the Birdsmore, said, go out there and look at all the young drug addicts in that town who might be companions of payable pleasure. How many of them have been kept out of jail because they did certain services for the police? I bet you a lot of, especially the young women, have gotten that, oh, we go behind the 7-Eleven, you don't get a charge. And you probably have to do it more than just once to stay out of prison. I think I don't understand why when you did the other Nest thing with the mafia, why don't they have some kind of standby saying, we need you to look into the MSP? It's clearly rotten. It's clearly rotten.
I think it's my understanding that the problem there is that coming in and sort of taking over the MSP would potentially be a National Guard thing, but that comes back to the governor, which is Maura Healey. Like it's this vicious cycle of that Maura Healey is the one calling in, a state of emergency or whatever the terminology is.
Yeah, but
they need people up there so that they don't try to do anything. They need weak people at the top.
So malleable people who will just do whatever. They don't have strong moral compass. They don't have integrity. They just do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, look at the pensions. That's probably where everything. That's going to be interesting. But you need an audit. You need some, and you don't need that phony audit that they're making. I love that they have the biggest misogynist on the panel. Can you stop talking? You're a woman. He could just say that every time he answered that woman on the panel. He hated women. But he's a doctor, so let's listen to him. I love that guy. That's how I talk to women. Can you please shut up? Men are speaking.
Man, I don't want to talk about him.
The audacity and the disgusting. They're behaving like that on show for the world, and they have no self-awareness. Or they don't care that it's like the entire world is watching. Look at us. We're not in Massachusetts. We're not even in the States, and here we are horrified. I wonder how any real change is going to be affected, whether it's in Canton or Norfolk County or Massachusetts as a whole. It's an epic problem.
Yeah, and probably we don't see any of what's going on in Little Springs, Wichita. We don't know anything about that. It's probably just as bad because, and as someone mentioned earlier, the 30% turnover rate at the police academy. Yeah, that's more than dropped out of when I was in my basic training. We had one guy out of everyone who started who dropped out. That was just because he didn't want to do it. So he got sent to prison instead. But 30%, that's one third. Actually, that's when I went to teachers college, that was what they expected to drop out of being a teacher the first 5 years, getting the education and then going in to be a teacher. And then they thought one third would leave the profession within 5 years. But these are dropping out at an extremely high rate. And you must have been doing the exam or some kind of test before you get to the academy. So your
Yes.
physics must be okay. Your mind should be, or your grade should be okay. So why are they dropping out? It must be because they treat them like they did in the army in the olden days.
Yes, yeah, I think there's a lot. I mean, from what I understand, anecdotally, there's a lot of hazing and really kind of not politically correct and not just not up with the times treatment of those recruits in that training camp.
Totally off topic for 3 seconds, but I just wanted to shout out people with some really cool YouTube handles like Bath Toy Gang Member.
Yes, yes, that's a good one. She only just recently changed her handle from her previous handles to that. It's a cool one. And of course, our friend Turd Ferguson. It's a big hat. It's funny. That's Melissa Asylum.
It's a big hat. Someone's
Yeah.
got to wear
it.
Baby nuggets.
If you work 20 years, you can retire right away and get the full pension. Is that? I think Brandon said he was going to go and have a look into that, the pension. So,
Yeah.
So
Brandon is a smart cookie. He's a fun one to have in chat because he comes off as a little bit, but he's very, very intelligent and he knows where to look for stuff. And
comes off as a little bit what? I don't like that missing word there.
well, it's because Brandon, he's clearly.
Oh.
So that's what I have to say about that.
That's pretty much what I usually have to say about everything. I'll get 2 words out and then I'll get kidnapped.
So they probably have a bunch of 45-year-olds getting that 250K for life. Yeah, well, I think some MSP officers do other things before they join. I don't think it's a straight out of school necessarily recruitment process, is it? Not for all of them, but let's say by 50, there's people on that pension for life. Yes.
Yeah, and they can work next to. They can. I think they can go and do consult jobs or being head of security somewhere, and just rake in the dough. And you start to think back in the 30s. At least the good thing was, the cops were on the take with the mob. You knew. But how many shady deals goes on today where we don't have the mob anymore because we got rid of those? Yeah, but
whatever.
It's just back in the day. It's the same in Denmark. We had one part of Copenhagen where you could buy the devil's letters, which is highly illegal in Denmark. But you had one place where you could kind of do it, and the police wouldn't harass you too much. If you bought it out in the small towns like I live in, they will probably go a little harder on those ones. But then they knocked that down and started fighting it because reefer madness, and we need to. And they had rules that no hard drugs, only the letters were allowed to be sold in that place. So we knew, we didn't know, but if anyone came there, of course I've never been because I'm a straight A student, and if you went there, there was no any other drugs. It was only the devil's letters. And when they took that away and it just went out to all the normal dealers, it just gets worse. It's easier to handle, and they may or may not have had one of those deals that said, well, we're going to go raid rate you on Monday, and we better find like 500 kilos and a lot of money, so we can say to the politicians, "Oh my God, we did a good job." But they knew where all the criminals were, and there were kind of rules in the game, even though it's not legal. There were rules. It was better that way instead of all this crap where it's so dirty all the time. I think. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just yeah.
And I think, and also from what we understand, pre Karen Reid trial was that the bribing and the kind of the under the table dealings with the, I think with the MSP were things for like much smaller than big bundles of drugs. You know, good brands of water and kitchens and driveways and things. Which, I mean, interesting what people will sell their soul for, right?
And yeah, and you again, there's nothing better than having in as a contractor with a government, because government will always pay. Oh, I went 100,000 over budget. Well, I need it finished. Yeah, I'll find the money. What? How much was it to build a kitchen? You can build a small house for the amount of money that she wanted for the kitchen. It's
Yeah, her kitchen's about the same price as my house is going to cost.
yeah, and again, there are not that many officers. Yeah, and again, we had in Denmark most of the puff business used to be the biker gangs, and they had. It's so weird to say, but they were a law until themselves. If you didn't go into their environment, if you didn't seek out where they hung out or walked up to them and started something, there was never any problems, because they knew we're going to run this separately. We don't want as much heat on us as possible, so we're just going to be good guys. We will launder our money through all the tattoo parlors and stuff like that, but we have a business. They were businessmen, and sadly, then we had a lot of young thugs and street crime come in, and we had a lot of gang wars. So that's not good. But back then, you knew, okay, he's got a what do you call it? We call him a back mark. If no, a back on the biker vest.
Oh yes, like a patch.
The patch, yeah, the patch. And if it said something, you knew, okay, I'm just gonna go over here. And they didn't get in fights. They didn't start shooting. They didn't do anything because they knew, okay, we're gonna do. And when they went to prison, I have a lot of friends who's prison officers. They said that was a holiday. So they knew we don't f with the wardens. They were not the guys who beat a warden or something like that, unless he was a complete idiot, because they were on vacation, did their 6 months or whatever, how long, and played nice, because the more effed up stuff you do, the more trouble you'll get. And I miss the good old days with the good old criminals.
You're just happy to see me.
Turd Ferguson will write you a song. You will love it, Baker. Hey, Europe, is that Denmark in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Well, Denmark is the only sexual attractive country in the world.
Not Italy, the boot?
Who wants a boot?
Up until about 2 years ago, maybe. So I got a friend who's from Denmark, living here in Australia. Up until about 2 years ago, she was going, yeah, Australian government sucks. I'm going back to Denmark. And then about 2 years ago, she was like, okay, now I'm stuffed because Denmark's as bad as us now. Something happened in that time that changed her mind, you know, like. That,
could I spin this YouTube into a stable income and get enough money? I would love to work to move to the United States. I have 2 kids. They're grown-ups. They can fly over. I would love to leave. There's a lot of good things, but there's a crap ton of taxes. Remember, I paid 42% tax and 25% value-added tax on every purchase I make.
Wow.
Every car you buy in Denmark has an added 168% tax for the environment. So everything in Denmark is absurdly expensive compared to our buying power. We make a high salary, but that's because we give so much back to the state. Only one part of Denmark is peninsula. We have 147 islands, I believe. But I would love to be, and I don't have any free. We just had our minister of crap, because we have so many ministers now, and like 28 for 5.5 million people. You could run it with 2 men on a bicycle. But they want the social media companies to keep every interaction anyone has just in case.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
what
sitting
ours
here
is already
thinking,
doing.
I know there's a lot of crap in the US, and I would probably not feel at home in California or New York, but visiting Tennessee or some of the southern states, I think I could live down there. Find a place where it's not. I won't go to Florida because that's just stupid Australia of the US. And yes, Australia is in a dome in Ohio. I know that, but it's it's an old truth. But don't tell the Aussies; they still believe they're on the other side of the planet. But I would love to move over there, and I would have my freedom to carry. I would be able to defend myself. I would go to prison if I just punched the guy in the face for breaking into my house.
That data retention law that you're just talking about, that came in when Australia was converted away from just being able to join up with any ISP that you like, and all forced onto the national broadband network, which everyone's screaming about Russia doing, but we went ahead and done it. So the data retention laws came in at the same time that we were all forced onto the NBN, and I think it's 5 years or something, isn't it, Shorty, for the data retention laws? They got to keep our data for.
Only this part of Denmark is a peninsula. The rest of us is islands, and this is Swedish occupied Denmark. Don't talk about it; they miss us. But we have 100. I think we have 147 islands, where 120 of them is populated.
What's the landmass size? I'm not like, how big is that in comparison to something else or a state in something?
Well, we're 5.5 million people. We are the size of, I think we're the size of Delaware or something like that.
Yes.
But we cheat because we also, if we want to plop down Greenland, we're way bigger because Greenland belongs to us.
I'm assuming Grumpy Granny is being sarcastic.
Yes, I think those crazy laughing faces suggest yes.
We're so lucky. No, it was the next comment, because we have such high quality, super fast internet.
Yeah.
Only if you live in the city with a fiber optic connection. Yep, well done, Shorty. You're the only one out of all of us. I bet you everyone in chat's like, yeah, no, none of us. Shorty will be it by herself.
But then remember, I had to also I couldn't run StreamYard with any ease through my Wi-Fi connection until my Wi-Fi couldn't even cope. But yeah, I shouldn't complain compared to Starlink kidnappings, etc.
Well, I don't even have a phone line that works out here. We did have, the old copper line to the house, but it started messing up like ages ago. And then instead of screwing around with Telstra to come out and fix the copper lines, the landlord ended up paying for a repeater on top of the house so we can get mobile reception, and then disconnected the house. So we don't actually, because that copper line's screwed, we don't actually even get landline here anymore.
But does anyone have landline anymore?
All the houses our way on our road all have issues with their landlines because the copper lines are screwed all the way through here. So
I feel like they're trying to phase us out of landlines and home phones in general in the world. Joe Biffle does still have a landline, so there you go. But Joe Biffle, you're in Italy, aren't you? I think Biffle's in Italy, perhaps. Maybe I'm making that up. Prince Lover was wondering, compared with Texas, what's the size of Denmark?
Well, I'm just trying to, because I saw someone had compared it. But Denmark is a very small country.
Tasmania? What if it's the size of Tasmania? Aussie, do you know?
Denmark and Tasmania. I don't
Tasmania's
know.
smaller.
What's your landmass area?
We have a combined area of 42,952 square kilometers.
Hey, that's way bigger than Tasmania.
But that's we have 443 named islands. So
actually, Tasmania is bigger. You've got 442, nearly 43,000 kilometers squared. Tasmania is 68,000 kilometers squared. So wow, that's tiny.
So then Denmark must have quite a dense population then, because we don't. Tasmania doesn't have 5 million people, does it?
No.
No.
Yeah, well, my island has the most castles per square feet in the world.
Nice.
Yes, and we stole an Aussie to make our queen.
Yes. Yes.
But our largest city is Copenhagen, and has I think 1.2 million inhabitants. Our entire country is the size of Hamburg in Germany.
Gosh.
The population. There's more people in New York than in Denmark.
Yes, there's probably more people in New York than in Australia. I think actually
8 million, I think there's in New York.
Well, you could fit hang on, I'll tell you how many. You could fit Denmark into Texas. 17 times. Approximately.
Goodness.
Yeah, but who want to live in in Texas?
Here's some news. We've got a Texas here in Australia. Did you know that?
I didn't know
that. I drove through it the other day. I was like, wow, I didn't even know that existed.
We are almost as big as the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
There you go.
That's how big we're bigger than Hawaii. We're bigger than Maryland.
If you count all of Netherlands.
Why would you count the Netherlands? I live in Denmark. Everyone thinks Denmark and the Netherlands are the same place. Holland is down here. Denmark is up here.
No, I was just looking at all of the Netherlands at landmass to compare it to Denmark, and it's the same.
I wasn't. I thought it was the same thing. Oof.
So many people are thinking I'm Dutch. I don't know why. New Jersey is half as big as Denmark.
Actually, my brain just went blank. What do you call people from Denmark if it's not
Danes?
Danes.
Great Danes. Danes.
Yeah. I don't know why my brain went blank on that, but it did.
If it's any consolation, Aussie, my brain is almost always blank. So there's that.
I don't know. Mine's usually blank. That's why I rely on the chat to get back to me. Biffle. Joe
Biffle's in the house. Only fan is in Singapore, I believe, and 730 kilometers squared with 5 million population. Yes, well, Singapore is very dense population.
Sure. On a houseboat in the canals. Which canals? Some of the canals aren't houseboating in. So there's a dude in Australia who built his. Is he here in Australia? I actually don't know where. I think he's Australian. He built his own island out of plastic bottles, so that he could live on his own island. And I can't even remember what the law was they brought in so that he couldn't live on his own island. It's to do with the houseboats, like some new law that came in with houseboats, and they classed his island as a houseboat. So poor bugger.
James, mine also, I was just being hilarious. I wish I had a cotton wool brain. It's just always full of all the things, and it means that sometimes they fall out and I don't catch them in time. Well, there we go. Singapore is what? Singapore is a powerful passport. Italy is the third ranked passport. What does that mean? Does that mean that gets you into the most places in the world? What does that mean?
Yes. I think that's what it meant, because back in the day, if you had an American passport, it was almost like the good old Pax Romani, where you could go everywhere in the world and they knew, if we're going to F with this person, no matter who you are, they'll get you. And you used to do that with the British and the American passports, but I think it has to do with the visas and stuff like that.
I wonder where
I would have thought Australian would be a pretty powerful one, like get you into all of the Western nations.
Want to be powerful, tag along powerful, like little brother or little sister powerful. Like, we want to come too.
I have to, and finally I'm on with some Aussies. I have to ask a question. Is your national song, national anthem, really saying our land is girt by sea?
Girt by sea.
G-I-R-T.
What other land is not girt by sea? This is why I think you are living in a dome in Ohio, because no one would say our country is surrounded by water, or our land is surrounded by water. Every piece of land is surrounded by water.
Aren't we the only continent that's completely surrounded by water, and it's a country as well? Am I making that up? I feel like I sound smart, but
I don't know how they mean it, because the Oxford Dictionary actually describes it as a verb, particle of a grid.
Girt. I just thought of when girt and girth is the same origin of the meaning, surely. And I think if we want to be like girthy in Australia, that's fine with me. Sorry.
A lot of people was named Gert back when I was a kid. Almost the same.
Oh, really, Ducati girl? As of next year, Aussies will have to get separate visas for most European countries. Schengen. What does that mean?
Schengen. That's a town in, I believe, Holland or Belgium, where we made a very good deal that we don't need passports to travel within the European Union. And then the European Union will be very forceful on the outer border, so no criminals could come in here. And I still have to carry a passport, but all the criminals can just walk in.
Brandon reckons you guys are the worst with visas. You should just call it a tax. Exactly.
Well, I have to pay to get my visa or not a visa, my ESTA approval to go to the States. Because I have to go and fill out a piece of paper, and I think I have to pay like 20 or 30 bucks to be allowed to go visit the Americas.
Yes, an entry tax, same as when you go to Bali.
Never been to Bali.
I can't speak on any tax because I haven't been overseas unless you count Tasmania.
I have.
Do you count Tasmania?
I mean, it's overseas. It is overseas, technically, yes.
It's a cool trip, though, on the ferry.
Yes, it is. Jen's missing tooth. Laura, the thing is, though, that in Australia we say just Lego, and you guys say Legos, and it's very odd. Yes.
Yeah,
Aussie?
because you can't multiply it. You can't say multiple. It's a brand name.
The plural of Lego is Lego.
Yes, it's like fish, not fishes.
But
There's so many things wrong with Americans and not with Americans, with the way their things are spelt and pronounced there. I don't think Legos is, well, it's up there and problematic wise for me.
How many watch lists are you on, Brandon?
All of them. He's probably on some no one
All
else's.
the watch lists.
When Brandon is in the mood, maybe he tells all the good stories about how he went to prison and stuff like that. It's he can be very entertaining.
Brandon, we'll have to compare stories. I too have been in the lockup only for 12 hours.
Well,
12
let's
hours.
just say he probably had better connections than you do. He didn't stay that long, but he's a funny guy. And we were supposed last year around this time, I was on the expert show from one of the first times, and he said, "Oh, you're coming to Tennessee." And I said, "What?" "Yeah, we're having a meetup." I said, "What?" "Yeah, Brandon is saying you're coming to Tennessee." Well, if Brandon says I do, as the owner of the Brandon board, his own little board on my show, apparently he demands me to come to Tennessee. I'll come. And we had plans. We were going to frolic in the fields. We were going to save girls from college by making sure that their G-strings were full. We were going to do all the fun stuff. And who doesn't show up? Well, you planned it in a work week. I didn't plan it. I was ordered to come, Brandon.
And
Just
then-
saying, Daddy's not angry. Daddy's disappointed.
And do I recall that you had some bottle of alcohol that you were forced to take back with you that you didn't want to drink? Is that the story I remember?
Well, that's something called Malort, which is apparently a Swedish something, and it's not that great. It's the aftertaste that's the worst. But
Isn't
again,
that what they call judges in UK, my lord?
well, they should. But it's as a fellow nation who likes to beverage in a little bit of the drinky poo. You know, we drink a lot of stuff as long as it's strong enough, and we can tell a story about it next week. So we drank that Malort, and I got like 6 little bottles to take home with me. And when I came home, my luggage smelled like Malort, and I thought, that's odd. And some TSA agent had opened one of them and had a swig. Probably thought, oh my F, I'm not going to do that again. But I drink one now and again on the show. It's not that bad. It's just the aftertaste. It's not that good.
Grumpy Granny, did you know that what we know as the Australian national anthem is actually half missing because the other half was too racist, apparently? So what we actually sing from start to end, that's not the whole song.
Doesn't surprise me at all, Ozzy. Good night, Laura. Thank you.
Yeah, and no beef with me and Brandon. It's just we make fun of it. It's the same. Me and Valhalla has a lot of beef. It's just because everyone wants drama on the YouTube, so we just make up the drama.
Yes,
so
same.
Happens.
Turd Ferguson, when she first came into chat, she said, "I have beef with Baker." That's her thing, is to say she's got beef with everyone. She doesn't really have beef with anyone. She's cool.
I have beef with Turd Ferguson.
Do you? Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that size of that hat, suspicious. As they say, all hat, no cowboy, no cattle, whatever they're saying. I'm thinking someone hiding someone.
Possibly.
I should do a beef stream. I did a beef stream like a year ago.
What's
and I said, if anyone, and I did a real grifty. I said, if you pay me a super chat, I'll tell you who I have beef with. I had beef with Mo because she's so funny, and Valhalla because he's such a nice person, and with MG Law because he has a nice cat. And people are like, you're not going to spill any cheese. I don't have any cheese to spill because it's just, I hate all of that crap. If you don't like someone, just don't talk about them.
Yes. He wants someone to start beef with. You aren't a real free Karen Reid person until you have beef, I guess.
Well, I'm left off of every grift list. I don't have all the Smurf coming in calling me an idiot every day.
That's what you've got beef with. Like, give me my credit where credit's due, right, Baker? I'm a grifter, goddammit.
Yeah, everyone making those lists, not putting me on it. List making, yeah, I'm gonna get you.
Turd said she will be your Kate Peters, if you like. Ooh, yikes.
That was it. When I ended my stream today, I had more than 60 people watching. And I was sitting there and I didn't see you in chat, and it was Friday yesterday. It's 2 Fridays in a row. You haven't been around for a Friday beer. I'm just saying, Brandon, because you're getting older and slower. Me as a
Right.
27-year-old, I can still chuck my beer. We have because I don't drink on streams, but we have if we're watching a trial and he shows up on Fridays, we'll have a beer when I end my show. So
That was a
that's,
beautiful Lego flower you built, by the way.
yeah, it's
I woke up to that this morning watching.
they make some amazing stuff. I really like it.
It was
Yes.
it was cool waking up to watch Baker. I'm pretty sure I was watching it on the replay, but to wake
No,
up and
because
watch.
you came in chat and said, "What are you doing up? It's 4 a.m. your time."
Oh, so I did catch it. So I don't even remember what I did like 12 hours ago.
And no, I can't go to Florida. It's Australia of America.
A cow with no legs.
Nothing. It's not going to come when you call it.
I was going to say no idea, but that's a deer with no eyes.
Ground beef.
Oh, of course.
I like it. I only have one joke, and it's why are pirates pirates?
Why are pirates pirates?
Because they are. Lol. Terrible, 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 terrible. So y'all, let's just bring it back a little bit, and then I might let us all go because
Woohoo, I can go back to bed.
You can go back to bed, absolutely, and I can go to bed. And Ozzy, I don't know, you sleep on a schedule that is not any sort of schedule whatsoever. So
I'm on freaking planet Mars at the moment.
Same. So I don't know if this is a really a closing question, but do you all think that there will be a second trial, part one of the question, a retrial of Karen Read? And I guess if yes, do you think it'll go ahead in January? Ozzy?
I'm going to qualify my answer with if an appeal goes well, then no. There's not going to be another trial.
So
But if the
appeal, yes.
If the appeal falls flat, then yes.
Caitlin, I'm glad you joined me on this channel. It's 9:30 where I am, so but I should go back to sleep because I have a stream again in 6 hours. I said when they dropped it the first time, I believe a Friday, roughly 4:59 in the afternoon, where something probably around the election, they will drop at least charge 1 and 3. And after they brought on this special prosecutor, I'm thinking he's there, so he, in roughly 1 month's time, around the election, can come out, hold a press conference, and said, "Well, we still believe that, but seeing how the first case went, we don't feel it'll be prudent to continue this and cost the taxpayers of Massachusetts more money, and he'll get his $75,000 paycheck for taking the blame." That's why Lally was moved out of the fray. They know if they're going to get into another trial, and I bet you, and it's not a good ending question because now the squirrels keep running.
Sorry, I did preface it with I don't think this is necessarily a good ending question, but carry on.
But I think that it's going to be a very, very big problem with the Paul O'Keefe suit, because with that suit, everything is open now. Everyone will be open for new questioning in the civil suit. And then you have the Aiden suit, where Tully, that massive idiot, also will have to deliver his goods. And you have Mello, but he's just an idiot. But all of a sudden, you blow all of this side story business up again. And at what point do you say we're going to cut our laws? You reach out to Karen Read saying, manslaughter, time served. You don't get, you get a slap on the wrist. Can we do this? Because I think at that point she would probably say, and don't take it the wrong way, because people are always yelling at me when I say it. She would probably say, okay, I'm going to save $500,000. I can live with not admitting to anything. It's called a what plea?
Alfred.
Alfred.
Yeah, they're going to make an Alfred plea on the manslaughter.
Mm.
I could
I
see
think
that as more.
if they lose at appeal, I think they're going to be more inclined to do what you're saying. Like if they win at appeal, they're going to be more cocky and they're just going to go the whole hog. But if they lose at appeal, I think that you're right. I think they'll actually reconsider what they're doing and understand that no matter what they get in court, it's still going to get appealed and she's still going to win it at the other end. So
Yeah, but again, and I know, and I said, don't get mad at me. I'm not saying it's a good idea or anything, but you're looking at her first trial cost her her house, her life, her job.
Mm.
The state of Massachusetts will have to cover their ass too. So if they can
This is
get
what-
her on an Alfred plea so she can't civilly sue them for all the crap the police did to them, that'll be the best for them as well. Because she has a lot of civil suits coming the other way too. Imagine if they found out the McAlberts were colluding with the police. I know a lot of, well, the DA and stuff like that will have immunity, but you still have the police force who did a lot of shady business. So they will try and give her an Alfred plea. And you also have to do what's best for your client. And I know everyone's out there who would fight till the end. But if you're $500,000 in the hole, you probably would sit there and say, I'm not pleading guilty.
Julian Assange just took an Alfred plea, by the way, just so you know. Essentially.
But at some point you're saying I'm not I don't want to waste my life and
future.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure she can get John survivor's benefits, because wouldn't that go to the kids? They weren't
married.
They weren't living together. So, but I think, and I said this when the case was done. I've said this in a lot of pro se cases. It got too big. There was too much who did what, and we know that from the jurors who was on with Aiden. The defense need to really shrink it down. But they can do that now, because now they're allowed to mention the FBI, because the ARCA guys have been released. The Alfred is where you said, I'm not guilty, but there's enough evidence that they possibly could find me guilty. That's the Alfred plea.
Which there isn't, but at the same time, I can see why she'd take it.
Yeah. But again, I'm saying I wouldn't, I'm just saying if I was $500,000 in the hole, maybe I would be more inclined to do that. But she would lose the ability to sue the state. But what the defense really had to focus on, not so much about Jen, Brian Higgins and Brian Albert grab-assing. They have to go hard. There's no physical evidence. No physical evidence. And they need someone better to disprove that stupid... I work for Cellbrite, but you need my program to interpret Cellbrite.
Ian Whiffen.
Yeah, they didn't disprove his theory well enough. Yeah, no contest type of deal. Yeah, it's
no, because in no contest you're actually pleading guilty. In Alfred, you're pleading guilty.
I didn't do it, but you guys have got stuff on me that I think the jury will potentially.
Right, you're not pleading guilty. You're just saying, I'll take whatever you hand me because you got too much evidence.
Yeah, but I'm still saying, as I said back then when it got a hung jury, I said, you're not gonna get a better case for the state. The state played all their aces. The defense now have all the cards that the state will play. And I know Bukaki was out there taking pictures one day, but they can't bring anything in. And they can see, okay, Aiden interviewed 2 people. Both of them said, we really need more about the technical stuff. And we just thought it was the insurance companies and we don't trust them. But now the cat's out the bag. They can talk about the FBI. They can talk about who Arca is. And they can talk to Arca, because they couldn't do that before the last. And I know all the Smurfs are sitting there saying, well, they weren't given the evidence by the defense. Why didn't they do it? Because idiots. There was a court order against them talking to the Arca guys. Now they have all the Arca's findings. And they can sit down and say, we really want to know, can you do a demonstrative of how you believe it's possible and why it's not possible? And you can do all of that now. You can get 200% better, but the state can't change their witnesses or their facts. And they have no facts. And each and every one of their witnesses will be subject to discovery in the civil suit, because everyone who's going to testify in the criminal matter was at the bar with Karen Reed that night. So they will be subject to discovery in the civil suit to find out why didn't they stop her. And yes, then they can sneak that into to the criminal suit as well. This, if I was the state of Massachusetts, I would drop it Friday night, 5 a.m., just before 5 a.m., because they're public workers. They don't work after 5 p.m., sorry. Probably, maybe even do it on election night, where everyone else is talking about everything else, and they know the next week of news will be booked. Get out of there, or at least drop number 1 and number 3 so you don't make a total fool of yourself. You might have a chance on the DUI. You might.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe. Yes. I think that's realistically the hubris here in all of this prosecution of Karen Reed, and the persisting with it and the upping the charges and things suggests that the only way they can save face is to do something like what you've suggested, Baker. I think that's probably pretty.
That's why they chucked Lely out, so the Bulger guy can come in and say,
Hank Brennan, yes.
Yeah, and say, well, we looked at it, and clearly we had a strong case, but I just don't think I could take it to. And they will say, well, that's 75,000 for you, and everything's good. I that's just, again, what do I know? I'm an idiot, but I would do that. I would buy someone to take the fall, so Lally can come back, still be a whipping boy for DA Morrissey, and then take over his job when Morrissey goes out to pasture.
Yep.
Because I think Lally is being groomed to be the next DA.
Oh my goodness. It's
the first murder case in Canton in what, 13 years?
So. All right. Well, my dogs are going crazy. I'm sure you can hear them. Poppy's panting like a lunatic because she just always does. Yes.
Is that what you were? Oh my goodness, sing out. I was like, wait, I missed something, and then I realized it was your dog.
Dogs being lunatics. Dogs being lunatics. It is frightening.
I need your attention, Mama.
Yes, Buster says, "Mummy, I love you." So, well, thank you so much, Aussie and Baker.
My dog is just farting and it smells horrible.
Well, I'm glad it's not smell-o-vision then. My dog's
I'm gonna go put her in the bed and we can have fun there. She can Dutch oven me.
You can fart together. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us, having a chat not only on Karen Reed, but on Sarah Boone and on Denmark and not the Netherlands. I learned something today. It's been lovely. So thank you so much. Any final thoughts, Aussie?
Thank you so much for having me, Shorty. I missed everything you just said in the last couple of 10.
It was pure drivel. And Starlink has taken her. Baker, any final thoughts?
Why are pigeons not real, and why are they used to spy on civilians? Join me today at 9 a.m. Eastern. I might be discussing that with Mo, Peter A, and Jamie. That was grifting.
Send all the monies your way. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Baker, for the super chat, for the bacon, and to Brandon also. Thank you. And I guess we'll go out on a bit of a love song written and produced by Turd Ferguson, and the video by my guy Adam. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thanks, everybody. Love your faces. International crowd. Signing out. Let me find it. Oh, my goodness. I'm such a professional. Bye.
Bye.
Our sister, survivor and warrior. Miss Shorty shows care and concern, broadcasting out of Melbourne. They've been streaming for a while, and they know they make us smile. He knew love from 8,000 miles away, 13,000 kilometers, never got it away. Half the world apart, but united in the heart. Both are uniquely complex, bravely seeking what's next. It would be an easier goal to maintain the status quo, but sincere in their beliefs, for us to find our love and peace. They've been streaming for a while, and they know they make us smile. They've been streaming for a while, and they know they make us smile. He knew love from 8,000 miles away, 13,000 kilometers, never gotten away. Half the world apart, but united in the heart. Both are uniquely complex, bravely seeking what's next.